you guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 5, episodes 6 and 7, and I know it's been a minute. But happy new year. I hope you went into the new year with prosperity on the brain, as the people in church say. But yeah, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful New Year's. My goal for this New Year's is not to be stressed by stupid stuff. That's my goal. Not to let little things agitate me and stress me out. So I hope everybody had a safe and wonderful new year. And yeah, again, happy new year. So let's get into this review because these 2 episodes was actually really good. All right. Episode 6. So it opens up where episode 5 left off, where everybody is in shock, but Juliana is sitting at the bar, both of these ladies eating sushi and drinking, thinking that the ladies are fighting. And my nosy self would have picked up my platter of sushi, took my chopsticks or my fork, and would have walked over there and ate. I'm like, girl, give me some soy sauce. And still would have been in the mix trying to understand what was going on. Because after everything died down, you got Adriana like, Lisa, what's going on? Are you getting a divorce? I told Adriana, you should have been over here when we was talking about it. We ain't talking about it no more. So go on somewhere. Now you won't here for the mess in the beginning. You can't be here now. Okay? That would have been my energy. That's just me being honest. So everyone's just shocked. Alexia want to fight. That's her energy of wanting to throw hands. You got Marisol just like, whoa. You got Gertie's eyes bulging out. You got Lisa being like, not Lisa, Nicole telling Lisa like, girl, you need to call an attorney, get them on retainer. You got Larsa trying to comfort Lisa, like everybody. Kiki is just like, ooh, girl, I knew something was up. And it's just like, it's so much going on. You got Lisa saying that she loves him and she wants her marriage to work, and he's lost his mind. He told me that I need to get out the house and my kids have to find somewhere else to go. Nicole is like, you don't leave the marital home. Like, you have to give a sense of balance to your kids. You don't leave that home. So then everyone's looking at Lisa like, girl, why are you here in the keys? Like, you don't think he not gonna change the locks on you? And I said, ooh, true. He giving very much like, I'll change the locks on you type energy. So I said, girl, go home. So everyone is just shocked. Everyone's shocked because they just cannot believe what's going on. Like, everyone didn't expect Lenny to be this way. Larsa was like, Lisa is a ride or die for Lenny, so you would never think that things would go this way. She also was getting agitated with Gertie because Gertie was saying like, Lisa, you want to, keep your family are your kids, focus on your kids. And Larsa's coming from the standpoint of like, Gertie's never been in a divorce situation, so why are you giving advice? And I got where Larsa was coming from. Out of all the women, Gertie is the only one that has not been in a divorce situation. Nicole's been divorced. Alexia's been divorced. Marisol's been divorced several times. Larsa's been divorced. Adriana's been divorced. I don't think Julia has ever been divorced, but like, her relationships with her daughter's kids didn't work out. Not daughter's kids, her father of the fathers of her children didn't work out. Kiki just got out of, I guess, a toxic relationship because I remember her sharing about it last season. So it's like, Gertie has had the most successful relationship. So I think from Larsa's standpoint, it's like, how can you really talk about this thing when you've never been in it? But what Gertie said was true. Like, you need to start worrying about your kids and your children, not Lenny, and trying to hold on to that marriage. But the truth of the matter is, I'm going to be all the way 100 with you guys. Lisa saying that she loves Lenny, I call BS. I call bullshit. I think what Lisa wants is her lifestyle. I honestly believe that Lisa would be the type of wife where her husband does have like a girlfriend or a few side pieces scattered throughout town, but she knows about it and they know that and the women know that she knows about it. But as long as they keep it discreet, nobody knows, and she still afforded the lifestyle and they can paint this picture like they're a happy couple, she would stay with Lenny. And then come to find out from Adriana, when everybody, when they all broke away from the group, that Lenny got Lisa when she was in her early 20s. And I Googled, because I was like, I wonder how old Lenny is. Lenny's 56 and Lisa's 40. So if, like, say Lenny got with Lisa when she was like 21 or, like 21, that means when they met, Lenny would have been 37. So it's like there's a big age gap. They're 16 years apart. So it's like she's been with him her whole adult life. Majority of her whole adult life. Not even her whole adult life, basically. Not even majority, because if she met him in her 20s, her whole adult life, and she's 40 now. So it's like she's been with him a long time. And I remember during the earlier seasons of Miami that Lisa said she didn't have a good relationship with her family, and that she clung that she clung onto Lenny's family because she wasn't cool with her family. So I think in her mind she's grieving the fact that she'll no longer have somebody that she considered her only family because she's not cool with her family, as well as the lifestyle, because Lisa, it seems, wasn't smart enough to keep money on the side. That's the part that is wild to me. There's nothing, like I said on Twitter, I don't think there's anything wrong with someone wanting to live the soft life or be a kept woman, but you always hide money on the side. If he gives you an allowance, or she, depending on how your relationship is set up, you always take that money and you put it in an account that they know nothing about. Or you take that money out and you hide it somewhere that they're not going to know anything about, so they can't attack that money. Because what it seems to me is when Lisa says, like, I'm blindsided, I don't know how she could have been blindsided. The way that man treated her last season was very much like, I'm done with you. Like, I don't have any love for you. Watching Lisa, like, try to, like, beg for this man's affection has been cringy, because it's like, you should never have to beg anyone to love you. Like, that's in any relationship, whether it's friendship or romantic. Like, people that you considered, like, important in your life, they should want to be around you. And it always gave Lenny was just, like, exhausted with Lisa, or he was just annoyed or, like, disgusted by her. So it's sad. And her crying, I felt really bad, but I was just like, Lisa, the writing's been on the wall. You were just in denial. And I think she just thought that eventually, like, things would work themselves out. But I'm like, girl, no. They not working themselves out. They really not. So then as the group breaks apart, you see everybody go and call they menses. So you see Nicole calling Anthony. Anthony is like, oh, he an asshole, because we know Anthony's an attorney. And when I think what set Anthony off is when Nicole told Anthony that Lenny is kicking her and the kids out. And he was like, what? No. And then you got Gertie calling Russell, her husband. And y'all, I know a lot of people like Gertie, and Gertie seems to be sweet, but, like, if I was Gertie's friend, I would have to take her in small doses. In very small doses. Like, she seems like she'd be fun to party, but having a conversation with Gertie to me would be too much, because she's so animated, and it's like, take a breather. Take a break. Like, when she was on that phone with Russell, and then she was kind of getting hyped up, and I was like, that's why her and Russell work, because Russell is the calm to her storm. And she was asking Russell, like, he got to be on crack, cocaine, like, let me hear it. What's going on? I said, girl, let him get it out. Let him get it out. And I mean, I get it. I think what makes the women uncomfortable is, like, you never thought somebody in your friend group's husband would do something like that. So now you're just like, okay, is my man gonna do that? So it's understandable why they're trying to, like, ask questions and understand what's going on. But yeah, I was just like, I understand. It's wild. It's wild. So I think it's still the same day, and we see Lisa on the phone, and she's, like, going off on the phone. Like, she's telling Lenny, don't you bring that to my house. Because basically, it seems like Lenny got rid of the nanny, forced the nanny to go into the guest house while her kids are still in the main house, like, sleeping. And he called the girl over. He also kicked his mom out, which I was like, oh, you gonna do your mama dirty like that? I was like, Lenny's trash. Lenny is dumpster juice. And I mean, like, when I mean dumpster juice, I mean Dumpster juice that has been sitting in a hot dumpster for the past 3 days. And when you open it up to throw trash away, it makes you lose your breath. He's that foul. Because why are you kicking your mom out the house when right now it's so much going on? But you're also inviting over the lady that you're cheating on your wife with to be in the same vicinity as your kids. You're not even going to shield and protect your kids. Yeah, you're trash, bro. You're mad trash. So Lisa's losing it. She is pissed off. Everyone's trying to get ready because Alexia's birthday dinner is later on that night. And it's just so much going on. It's so much going on. And Lisa is just trying to hold it together. She's trying to tell the nanny to stay go into the house. But the nanny's like, well, no, he told me to go to the guest house. And I guess the nanny didn't feel comfortable going into the house. And I'm not mad at the nanny. Like, if I don't feel like this situation is comfortable for me and I could get in trouble, then I'm not. That's a you and your husband problem. He told me to be out here and he paid my bills. I'm going to be in this guest house. So everyone makes their way to the dinner table to celebrate Alexia. Todd ends up buying Alexia this, I think it was $100,000, I think it's balayage, whatever. It's some expensive watch. Beautiful watch. Adriana makes a slick comment talking about, well, I bought mine. He bought hers. I'm like, Adriana, either way, ma'am, she got the watch set. And I'm looking at Adriana likes to say slick stuff like the first 2 seasons of this show, you wasn't out here jumping on every man's dick trying to get him to pay for you and your son's lifestyle. That's what I don't like. A lot of these women in this group are hypocritical because we're going to get to the prostitute comment because I have some things to say to Julia and Adriana because it doesn't make sense how, it does make sense how mad she got, but the way y'all treat Larsa, it's things ain't adding up. Things aren't adding up. So we end up seeing Alexia's friend Johnny pop up. He ends up gifting her the watch set that Todd gave to her, which I'm like, her husband gave it to her. So why you making a slick comment, Adriana? You mad you ain't got no man? Because that's what it sounds like. You sounding like a hater, a straight up hater. And then we see Lisa leave the table because Lisa is still frantic, trying to figure out what is going, are her kids okay? Is that girl going to be over there? So she goes into the bathroom and they're like, what's going on? So you see, what's her name? Larsa texts Lisa, are you all right? And she's like, she texts back, no. So Marisol's like, I'm going to go check up on her. She's not at this table. I'm going to go check up on her. So she walks in there. Excuse me, because Lisa goes to the bathroom and Marisol's like, girl, what's going on? What is going on? And she was like, he's bringing that lady at my house. I don't want that girl around my kids. Production is following her, Lisa, and Lisa's like, back up. You got Marisol telling Lisa, you need to gain control of your household because right now he thinks he has all the control. And everyone's looking at Lisa go home to make sure everything's okay. But production was pissing Lisa off because they kept following her. And she's like, this is not the time. This is private. It's got something to do with my kids. Leave me alone. And they're like, we're just following. She's like, no, leave me alone. And I was like, yeah, that's the only thing about reality TV I feel is a lot because you do sign up for people to see bits and pieces of your life, but it's kind of how do you dictate what can be shown and what can't be shown? Because right now you are showing, Lisa is showing the breakdown of her marriage, but I guess it's a sensitive spot because now her kids are involved because you got this man kicking out his mom. He kicked the nanny out into the guest room. He has basically because what we found out is that the mom was pulling up to stay at the house to make sure that everything was okay because now the mom knows about the divorce, but the driver is going that normally drives them just to drives them around. And when the driver, I guess, pulled up or another car pulled up into the house, Lenny's mom saw the other girl in the back of the car. So it's you mad disrespectful, mad disrespectful. So it's just a lot going on. So Lisa's just we figured out she not okay. They then asked Kiki, did you know, are you surprised that Lenny is doing this? Kiki was like, nah, the man got ahead of a cheater. I said, what? Then she gonna tell the production man, bald men like to cheat. In the production, and she saw one of the production members who's bald, and she was like, you cheat. And he was like, no, I don't. Girl, I don't be out here cheating. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was such a mess. Kiki is a good Kiki. Kiki is a good Kiki. So let's move on to the next scene. So they're still sitting at the table. Lisa's not at the table. She's still trying to figure out who gonna take care of her kids while Lenny out there wilding in the streets. So they're all sitting at the table and they start playing this game where they ask each other questions like a card game. And the first question is like, who would be a dirty cop? Who would get high off their own supply if they were a drug dealer? And then it gets to the prostitution comment where it's like, who would be the best prostitute out the group? And I don't know how, but Julia said she doesn't think she would be a good prostitute because all she wears is like muumuus and stuff like that. And then Alexia is like, no, you're Russian. Russians make good prostitutes. So everyone at the table is like, what? You got like Nicole being like, girl. Kiki is like everyone's, and then Alexia kept saying it and she was just kept sticking her foot in her mouth even deeper. And she was like, what? She was like, I didn't mean it to be like offensive, but like, yeah, I've always like, you know, Russians have always made the best prostitutes. You know, that's what it is, you know, and no one's going to be like, no one can check me for what I'm saying because I said what I said. And I saw like a comparison from Erica De Niro on Twitter where she was like, Alexia gives off Ramona Singer vibes from Real Housewives of New York. And I was like, I can see it. I can see it because Ramona was like the main like the old OG. Like Ramona was on Real Housewives of I was about to say Orange County of New York since season 1. And like Ramona was one of the staples of that show, but Ramona would always say the most out of pocket stuff. And then her eyes would get all wiry. And then she would always be like, you know, I can say what I want. And it's just kind of like, you really can't. And the thing is like, no, you really can say the things that you want, but like, you don't get to dictate how people respond to it. So then you got Adriana chiming in. And then it was both Julia and Adriana kind of like coming at Alexia because what Alexia said was mad ignorant. And it was like she doubled down on it and there was no reason to double down on it because then she was like, you guys, we said we weren't going to get offended by the things people said. And it's like, yeah, y'all know y'all said that, but if you know you offended somebody and that wasn't your intent, you should still apologize. Like, and Alexia was just kind of like, it's my birthday. I'm going to say whatever I want. So everyone at the table is just like, my goodness. So then they kind of like smooth it over just a little bit. They start breaking, hitting the piñatas. They had piñatas with, I think, jewelry in them. They're like playing with the huge bubbles and drinking and having a good time. So then it's the next day and we find out Lisa is going home because she was like, she can't do it. We found out that her and Larsa ended up talking till like 3 o'clock in the morning and crying together. And she basically came to the consensus like, yo, I'm going home. And I was like, girl, you should have been home on the first day. I wouldn't even came on a trip, but that's just me. So let's move on to episode 7. Episode 7 opens up and we have, like I said, on episode 6, Lisa's leaving. So they're all just kind of like, oh, you're leaving. And Lisa's like, yeah, I got to go. I got to make sure my home is okay. So, excuse me. So everyone who's still there gets on the Sprinter and they're on the Sprinter and they're just talking about Lisa leaving as well as, you know, they're going to do like rolling of cigars and doing like going to get espressos. So they're on the bus and Larsa decides to confront Gertie about her chiming in about with the whole divorce conversation because Larsa feels like it wasn't Gertie's place to speak up because Gertie has been in a successful relationship. And Gertie's whole thing is like, I have an opinion. I'm going to share it just like everyone else. You're not going to tell me to pipe down, which I understand. If I got an opinion, I'm going to say what I want to say. They get to the espresso place to get coffee, and we see Julia and Alexia try to have a conversation. Alexia tries to apologize to Julia, but Julia doesn't take the apology. There's nothing in the rule book that says you have to accept somebody's apology. We found out that Julia is very like taken aback by the comment because when she was in France, a lot of French people or people in the modeling industry would disrespect her by calling her a Russian prostitute. I guess that they have that stigma over there. So she was just like, when I was young, I didn't speak up for myself, but I'm an adult and I'm going to speak up. So she was trying to explain to Alexia what happened. And Erica De Niro on Twitter said something where she was like, I think Alexia is like the new Ramona Singer, or she is the Ramona Singer of this group. She's like an elitist bigot. And I said, oh, I can see that. Because Ramona would say things and then think because she said sorry, it was supposed to like glaze over things and everybody was supposed to go forward. And I think that's what Alexia is expecting, that, okay, I said sorry, like what you want from me. But it's like you have to say sorry and then put actions to your sorry, ma'am. So Alexia's just like, girl, whatever. So then they get to arguing back and forth. The finger is going. You got the girls on the sprinter looking at them argue like, ooh, crap. And everyone's just like Adriana, Alexia got her hand going, ga. Julia's not really backing down, and they're just going back and forth. You got Alexia saying she said what she said because she's mad at Lenny, and Lenny's rushing. I said, girl, that doesn't make sense. And they were just going, because then Julia tried to come back at Alexia saying something about her past, about what if people judge you about your past. And Alexia's whole thing is like, you're not going to be judging me, like you're not going to try to hurt me with the things that happened in my past just because you're offended. So they're going back and forth. And then Alexia is just like, you know what? I'm not having this conversation anymore. She was like, I own what I said. I tell the truth. A lot of the women on that bus don't tell the truth. And y'all just mad because I tell the truth. And I was like, I don't know about that, sis. Telling the truth and being an asshole, still wrong. So they get on the bus and everyone's just kind of like, girl, what happened? So then the argument kicks back up. And then this time you got Julia and Adriana going at Alexia. And one thing I'll give Alexia is, when Juliana when Juliana comes at you, you feel like you got to take it up a notch because it does become 2 against 1. And in that moment, I was looking at Adriana like, shut up. Like, Julia was doing fine in that argument. Like, Julia and Alexia were going back and forth. Alexia then starts to say that she said what she said because she saw a documentary about Russian prostitutes or Russians coming to Miami and becoming prostitutes. Adriana brings up the whole Cocaine Cowboy documentary on Netflix. And she was like, what if people judged you off of that? And she was like, and Alexia was like, people have. And she was like, in that, it showed that you could be a drug dealer and still be a good person, just like you could be a prostitute and still be a good woman. Like, what are we talking about? So Alexia is getting tired of having the conversation back and forth. Julia's like, you're just mad because I don't want to accept your apology and you're just showing who you are, which you're not basically saying that Alexia is not a good person and you're not for women. And this is where I got agitated with Julia and Adriana, because last season they were down Larsa's neck. They were talking mad trash about Larsa being on OnlyFans, talking trash about her taking her salacious pics or her sensual pics, as well as selling her feet pics. And it's like, and they've talked about her body. So it's like, if you're mad that someone referenced you as a prostitute, which you have that right to be upset, but don't try to put that under the guise that she's not for women when you yourself have not been for women, because y'all have been mad disrespectful to Larsa since last season, basically saying she's a hoe and a prostitute and a porn star since last season. And y'all got mad when Larsa started trying to check y'all. So it's like, after that, I didn't really feel that bad for Julia. Even though I do think the comments that Alexia made were mad disrespectful and ignorant, and Alexia just wanted everybody to get over it. I was just like, it don't work that way. But it's like, you two have been real assholes to Larsa about what she does for her income and picking at her about what she does. And now because someone referenced you in the same way, they not for women. Talk about you. Look in the mirror, because neither one of y'all are. Everybody on this bus is judgmental. Everybody on this bus is judgmental. So Alexia makes a comment about, like, I'm a star. Y'all not going to try to knock me off my pedestal. And then Gertie makes a face. And then Alexia's like, Gertie, what's with the face? And my thing with Gertie being like, no one's ever talked to me that way. I'm like, Gertie, you do be making faces. Like, if someone made a face after I said something, yeah, I'm going to be like, what's up with your face? You got a problem? So I'm like, I don't know. Y'all, Gertie annoys me. I'm sorry. I know everyone likes her. And to a certain extent, I like her too. But the whole being animated, I feel like it's annoying at this point. And that's her. So I don't want to take that away from her. But I do feel like for her to be like so taken aback when Alexia was like, what's up with your face? I'm like, girl, you do be making faces at people. And if I'm in an argument, if I got two people coming at me and I see you make a face, I'm gonna ask you what's up with the face. I am. That's just gonna be me. I'm just gonna be like, what's up? You got an issue too? And that's what Alexia did. And Gertie being like, oh my God. I'm like, Gertie, you do be making faces. You always be making faces. So I'm like, either check your face or just accept it and tell people like, I ain't got no problem, or I do have a problem, because you did have a problem with her comment. So you should have said you had a problem with the comment about she's the star of the group. Like, you should have said something. So they finally get to the restaurant. They're having a good time drinking. Gertie tries to say something where she's like, everybody in this group be acting fun. Like, people be acting funny. When certain people make comments, everybody listens. Like, so when certain people have the mic in this group, everyone listens. But when other people do, people get annoyed. And they all kind of tried to gaslight her and be like, girl, what you talking about? But I got what she was talking about. I just think Gertie is like Dorit. She long-winded and people get tired of her after a while. And they just be like, girl. But she is right. But I don't know, because I've been seeing people feel like they're bullying Gertie, but I don't think they're bullying Gertie. I think the thing is, like, the other girls have known each other a lot longer, and it's still taking them a minute to get to know Gertie. I don't think Gertie was in their friend group to begin with, and it's just them trying to warm up to her, because my thing is, the other women have history, and I'm not even going to sit here and lie. If I've been with these people for 10 plus years, yeah, I'm going to listen to you, and I'm not going to be disrespectful because that's just not how I am. But what you have to say to me does not hold as much weight as people I've been friends with for 10 plus years that know me, that I've been through struggles with. And I think Gertie has to realize that. But I do understand where people said they feel like the girls are kind of like trying to like ice her out. I don't think they are, but it does, like, the optics don't look that great. They then talk about the whole star comment, because Gertie was like, everyone at this table is a star. We don't have to dim each other's light. And then Alexia was like, you the one who's been mentioning Vogue and stuff. And Gertie was like, Vogue said that? Not me. Get it correct. And it's factual. And I said, girl, put your dick on the table, Gertie, because it is factual, girl. You was in that book. And I do think that Alexia might feel some type of way, because I think Alexia is used to being the alpha female of the group or the head girl in charge. And maybe she feels like, girl, pipe down. You're a newbie. I'm an OG. Understand the ranks. Understand the ranks now. But yeah, nobody is outshining anybody. Like, in their own right, they're all successful in their own fields. So I got Gertie being like, girl, star. I understand where Gertie's coming from, but I also understand where Alexia is coming from. Like, girl, if I see myself that way, that's how I see myself. Like, get over it. But I get Gertie being like, girl, we're all that. Chill out. Calm your puss. Calm your puss. So Julia brings up, like, where do we go from here? Because we're having a good time. Alexia's like, we're still talking about this. And I'm like, Alexia, you offended her. So if she still has an issue with it, then she can still have an issue with it. So Alexia was like, I didn't mean to offend you. That wasn't my thing. But you can tell that there's going to be a rift. Like, there's going to be some uneasy waters, because you got Adriana saying that Alexia is not as nice as she portrays, but I'm like, neither are you. I don't know. Adriana has always gotten on my nerves since season 1. The only time I really liked Adriana is when she popped that the white girl who was for PETA in the face, when that girl was following her at Lenny's party, and Adriana told her, leave me alone, and that girl walked up behind her, and Adriana said, leave me alone. I said, girl, walk out, hit her in the face. That's the only time, like, I really been with Adriana, because Adriana told that girl more than once, get out of my space, leave me alone. And that girl thought she was bout it, and got pop. That's the one time I was rooting for Adriana. I was riding for her. So I don't know. Adriana just has always annoyed me, because I feel like Adriana is the type of person that Adriana to me is condescending, just like Alexia. So it does kind of rub me the wrong way when Adriana is trying to say Alexia thinks she's better than everybody else, and Alexia isn't that nice, when it's like, to me, you two are the same person. That's just the way I see it. Okay, y'all. So the day is winding down. It's still the same day, but I think it's the last night of the day of the trip. We see that Nicole's not going to be there. She has a 24-hour shift. I would love to know how her schedule is. Like, does she work 24 hours and then she gets off for like 2 or 3 days? And like, I'm just curious to know like what her schedule is, or does she just works for 2 days? Because 40 hours is a whole work week. Like, so does she work just 2 days for 24 hours? And then like, she has the rest of the week to do whatever. I just would be curious to know her schedule. But she's leaving, so she won't be there. We find out Marisol tells the ladies that they're going to have a shaman there to help like cleanse the negative energy, which is cool. And so, that's what they're doing. They're cleansing and like, they're just going to do that. So, as we're like, everyone's getting ready, we see Juliana and Gertie in a room together. And all three of them are just talking to each other, trying to figure out what's going on. Like, are they okay? Where they're at after the day they had with Alexia. And so Adriana decides she's going to call the guy who they said is married. Because earlier, I forgot to say that when they were arguing in the Sprinter, Alexia threw a dagger at Adriana because they were talking about how what Alexia said was shameful. And Alexia said what's shameful is messing with a married man. And then Adriana tried to hit back at Alexia being like, well, weren't you dating Ty while you was with Herman? And Alexia said, yeah, I was. And I own that. And I tell people I did that. So what about you? And I said, well, I always say you can't shame someone if they're not shamed by their actions. You can only shame someone when they already themselves are shamed by what they did. And it don't seem like Alexia is shamed. So, as they're walking to the table to eat dinner, Adriana gets a call back from her boyfriend. So like, or her, is he her boyfriend? No, the guy that she's dating. And right off the bat, I realized he was still married. Because when she asked him, like, are you still, like, they were speaking in Portuguese. And then she put him on speaker and asked him in English, like, are you married? And he was like, no, I've been separated for 5 years. And we've been divorced for 2 or 3 years. And I said, oh, he's still married. He's still married. Because when I've met divorced people, whether they be male or female, and they were ready for that divorce, bro, they will tell you, I've been divorced for 2 months, 12 days, and 30 minutes, 29. Like, they will hit you with that, especially if they wanted the divorce. I have met men who would be like, yeah, no, I've been divorced for 2 years, praise God. Or women who would be like, no, sis, I've been divorced for 5 years, best decision of my life. So it was like, when he put in there about like, oh, like, I've been separated for 5 years and we've been divorced for maybe 2 or 3 years, and he couldn't give a definitive like year, I said, oh girl, he's still married. He's still married. This sounds like a lie that he wasn't ready for you to ask, like a question he wasn't ready for you to ask, and this is just a lie that he thought off the top of his head. Because why are you telling me how long you were separated? I don't need to know that you're separated, because if you're telling me you're separated, that means you're still married. I need to know if you are still married. And most people will be like, no, I'm not married. Like, no, we've been divorced for 2, me and my like wife or whoever have been divorced for several years or this many years. So I was just like, yeah, no, he's still married. He's still married. But Gertie and Julia took that like, oh my God, I feel so happy for you. And I was like, y'all don't understand. Y'all not context clues. Y'all not thinking, because that right there, that exchange didn't make sense to me. So we find out that Adriana has a music career on the same level as Ashley Darby, because they showed that music video of her fire, and she was this close to the camera. I hate when artists get that close to the camera. That has never been a shot in a music video that I like. I should not see the back of your throat. Back up. Get out that frame. So I was just like, this is cringe. This is very cringe. But Adriana has a new song called Hot, and she wants all the ladies to be in it. They get on the topic about Adriana's date, and her saying, like, I'm happy. I found out that he wasn't married, that he's been divorced for 2 or 3 years. And at that moment, she thought she was like, basically, rubbing it in Marisol's and Alexia's face that, y'all was wrong about your tea. But then Alexia did one better and said, sis, not according to public records, he's been married for 20 something years and he's still married. And Julia was trying to help her friend out and being like, well, when do they update that stuff? And Marisol's like, I don't know, but it looked like it's pretty current to me. And then you got Gertie in her confessional being like, what Alexia is doing is so disgusting. Why would you embarrass her like that? And I don't know if this is just one of the toxic traits of being a Capricorn, but sis, don't ever try to tell me I'm wrong and I got proof. I'm a spray you in front of everybody. That just might be a toxic Capricorn trait, because what Adriana was trying to like sun Alexia and Marisol by being like, girl, well, I got the proof. Like my man told me told me that he's not married. He's been divorced for 2 or 3 years. And I'd have been like, but he's not though. And I didn't think it was wrong. I got Gertie felt like it was disgusting. I didn't think it was, because Adriana brung it to the table. So if you didn't want to get it confronted at the table with my cold hard facts, then don't be trying to like sun me, bro. That's just me. And that just might be a toxic trait of mine, because there's been plenty of times where someone tried to play me and I will whip out my phone. Here's the screenshot. This is what you said. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Okay? Don't play with it. Just lay with it. Okay? So Adriana is like confused. Like she just does not understand. And I'm like, well, girl, it seemed like your man is married. I did think the confessional between with Marisol and Alexia was cute. I think they should do more like 2-person confessionals, like with 2 housewives that get along, or if they're friends. I think it would make banter in the confessional a lot better. Like I like when people do confessionals together, like on Wags, which if you hadn't watched it was like a show on E! News. Was it E! Network? Entertainment. I think it was Entertainment Tonight. I don't know. Either way, it was on E! Where they played the Kardashian show. And like they would do multiple like confessionals where it'd be 2 of the ladies in the confessionals, and it would make for some juicy banter, and it would always be funny to me. So the ladies go and they sit down with the shaman. Everybody just start crying. That man start beating on their drum. Tears. So they go around and the shaman basically asks everybody, like, what do they want to release? We find out that Julia is having a hard time with being an early empty nester and realizing that she's not giving Martina what she needs, and it's causing Martina to pull away from her, but she doesn't know what to do. You got Alexia saying that she wants to find a way to be okay with the decisions that Peter makes, which I'm like, girl, your son is a lost cause. Move on. Marisol was talking about how, she was able to heal herself after losing both of her parents, because she's like, I don't have kids. So, that was something that was devastating to me, but I want to heal my friends. Like I want them to have the feelings that I feel. Kiki was crying about how she's scared about starting over, and she's just in fear of being alone. And I remember last season when they brought up Kiki, I think Kiki had just recently got out of a relationship and like just had her baby. And it was like she didn't expect that to be where her life was. And she's just been very like, it's hard. It's hard when we because we all have expectations of where we feel like our lives should go or where we think it's going to go. And when it doesn't go that way, it is oftentimes very frustrating, very like it makes you feel hollow and very sorrowful. I think I said that right. Sorrow. Ugh. I can't get that word right. It makes you sad. Like you're just sitting here and it can depress you. It can put fear in you. It can breed anxiety because it's like, this is how I wanted my life to go and it's not going that way. So what is wrong with me? And you're struggling trying to fix it. And it was just sad to see her cry. And it was a cry because she started to gasp a little bit for air. Larsa starts talking about like wanting to find love. The shaman said self-love, because she was just like, her relationship with Scotty was so great in the early years that she's just like, she's scared that she'll never find someone who will be on that same level as that. Gertie talks about there's this bird that comes to her office. I don't know if she was saying an actual bird or if it was like in her dream, but she was like, the bird always comes to her office and always taps at the window. And she was like, she feels like it's her brother telling her to work harder. I was like, girl, I don't know if your brother will tell you to work harder. Maybe it's the reverse. Like he's telling you to, like, you know, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Cause Gertie does get very much like workaholic and like, you know, trying to hustle and hustle and hustle, where she doesn't have time to really enjoy what she's doing in the sense. And it seems like she enjoys what she's doing, but I'm saying like fully take in the work that she does, because Gertie does great work. Like the pictures that I have seen of like the show, the events that she puts on, sis knows what she's doing. So it's like, I don't know if your brother would want you to work yourself to death. I think he probably is telling you, you can chill out. But you know, sometimes we read into things about what we want to hear. And then Adriana talks about, you know, wanting to be in love, but she still thinks about her mom, where her mom was constantly cheated on by her dad. And she used to remember hearing her mom cry herself to sleep. And the shaman was talking about, like, maybe you should go and comfort your mom when you have those feelings, I guess, to set herself free. And everybody was just weak. They were all just in tears. You know, the shaman did what he did. So we then find out that everyone is back in Miami. They're all getting ready for, you know, Adriana's her music video. Nobody showed up to her rehearsal except Kiki. And, you know, everybody else was like, they didn't want to come. They didn't think it was that important to come. Honestly, when the director came in, he gave very much like, this is a spoof. Like, he gave very much like something I would see. Like, the way he was acting was very like Office energy. Like, he was acting like a director on The Office, like some eccentric director. Because she was like, you guys, like, he was like, you guys, like, what is going on, Adriana? Where are your people? And I was just like, I don't know. It gave very much, this is a fake director vibes. It really did. I'm sorry. It felt fake. I wouldn't want to be a part of that either. And then when Kiki asked if she could eat, and he was like, is she serious? And I was like, yeah, the girl want to eat. Who are you? Go away. So as we move on, we have two conversations happening in the episode. Like I said, we have two conversations that end the episode. We have Alexia, Marisol, and Larsa meeting up. And then we have Lisa and Lenny's mom, I wish I could remember her name, sitting down to have a conversation. Y'all. So I'll talk about Lisa and Lenny's mom. We end up finding out that Lisa and Larsa ran into Lenny and the girl at the club. They were at the club hanging out. And I remember seeing them pictures. I'm going to feed in the video. The video is from Queens of Bravo. And they were talking about how, and you can hear in the video, Lisa is telling Lenny, like, why are you doing this to us? Like, why are you disrespecting me with her? And honestly, y'all, because Lisa talks about how the girl, like, licked her lips, like, when she was like, why are you ruining, like, when Lisa was like, why are you, like, wrecking my family or disrespecting my family? And when I saw the video, y'all, they looked like they were on cloud 27. Nothing was there. It gave very much, we was in the bathrooms playing with white candy. Like, I was like, he looked gone. Lisa, I don't even know why you trying to have this conversation with him. Like, Lenny's eyes were very much like, Lisa, stop. Like, Lisa, what are you doing? It gave very much like, we is to the moon right now. We is lifted. And that girl looked the same way. So Lenny's mom is like, I don't even know who this man is. Like, the fact that he kicked me out, like, I didn't know midlife crises were a thing. He was like, I can't believe he had that woman around your home. They were calling the lady evil. And I was glad that Lisa said Lenny ain't too great himself. He's not. Like I said, Lenny is dumpster juice, festering hot dumpster juice that's like been a dumpster in like 97-degree weather. He just, it festers. He stinks. Like, I was just like, the way he is going about this is just, it's wrong. And the thing about it is, I feel bad for Lisa, but there's a part of me that I know for a fact Lisa saw the writing on the wall. She just didn't do nothing about it. I think she just thought it was going to correct itself, and it did. Because Lenny is giving very much like, I've been told you that this marriage is over, but you not trying to leave, so now I got to disrespect you to make you peel out. And it's giving very much that, because when Alexia was having the conversation with the lady, Alexia and Marisol were like, I feel like he probably has told her to leave. Like he's too bold with this. And I agreed with them, because it's giving, because like, you know why I really agree with them is because I remember seeing in the Super trailer when Lenny was like, Lisa, you know why I'm doing this? Because you're not going to leave. I'm going to have to make you leave. And I feel like Lenny has probably told Lisa multiple times, like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't like the fact that he told her to her face when that whole situation where he was messing with Morgan from BGC, allegedly, that he didn't love her no more. She should have left. You ain't never got to tell me you don't have feelings for me. Because what I have learned as I've gotten older is that when people start to lose feelings for you, they don't care what happens to you, and they will treat you any kind of way. And that's with friendships or romantic relationships, even business relationships. And that is what we're seeing with Lenny. I think Lenny has been telling Lisa for a long time. Even in his body language from last season, he was basically telling Lisa, I don't want you anymore. And Lisa was still trying to hold on. And I think she was holding on because she wanted this lifestyle. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting the soft life or wanting to be a kept woman. But you got to always know how your bills are paid, how you will pay your own bills, and keep money on the side. Because I guarantee you, when people don't want you anymore and they hold the most financial power, the power in the relationship, they will discard you. And when Lisa said, I feel like he's just throwing me away, he is. Because he basically got somebody, a newer model. Because the girl doesn't look like Lisa, but she looks like Morgan, and they all have that plastic surgery kind of vibe going on. And the fact that girl followed Lisa, and I'm not gonna lie, if she would have licked her lips at me, like when I said something, like in that, like, ooh, and hit her in the chest. I just hit with her, popped her in the chest. Cause don't disrespect me. Don't. And I would have hit Lenny too. Like when I tell you, we would have been scrapping in that club. Y'all, I'd have got a drink. Douche. Why? We would have been in there. It'd have been over. Because what we not going to do, you not going to embarrass me. That's one thing to get hands put on you when it comes to me. Do not embarrass me. And that is what Lenny is doing. It's just messed up. So while that, like, you know, I think the best thing about that conversation that Lisa was having with Lenny's mom is that she decided that she was going to put her full support behind Lisa as well as her grandkids, because she said that's the only ones that matter. And that is true. I did feel bad for Lisa, but I feel like Lisa saw the writing on the wall. And that's the problem, y'all. Whenever you see things for what they are, you got to leave. You always, and I know it's scary. I know it has to be scary. You've been with this person for your whole adult life. This is all you've ever known. That is terrifying. That is terrifying to pick up and move somewhere, or pick up and now you're the sole provider for yourself when you've never been that since you were in your 20s. But I honestly hope she take that man for all his money, because the way he is acting is deplorable. Like, you cannot want to be with someone and still treat them with respect while you're getting a divorce. I've seen it happen. This one girl I went to church with when we were younger, her parents divorced and they still have like an amicable relationship. And it was because they both decided that it was time to peel out, and they still really respect each other. So I know it is actually like plausible for that to happen. But that man don't like her no more. That's why he acting that way, because if he liked her, I don't think he would be doing her this way, but he does not like her anymore. And he is treating her that. Julia better hope that Martina don't do her that way, because Martina been looking at Julia the same way Lenny was looking at Lisa in season 4. Julia better figure it out, Julia. Get that modeling money. So like I said, while that conversation is happening, Larsa, Marisol, and Alexia are having a conversation. Larsa is telling them about the whole, like, Lenny being at the club, how, like, she saw, like, Lenny and how her heart was beating so fast. And she said Lisa was in the bathroom. She said Lisa went up there confronting him, started recording them. I'm going to feed in the recording again. And she talked about how, what else did she say? Oh, how Lenny bought the girl like a $100,000 watch, and at first they thought the watch was Lisa's watch, but it seems like it was another watch that Lenny has been buying the girl number of bags and purses. So you can definitely tell that this is just a midlife crisis, because I'm like, if you really cared about her, you would be investing in her, not buying her jewelry. And the girl is stupid, because it's like, now your face is plastered everywhere for people to see that this is something that you did. And maybe, I don't know, I wonder, let me Google how old she is. What's her age? All right, she's 27. So she old enough to know this is wrong. Very old enough to know that this was wrong. Like, girl, you got 3 years before you're 30. You know for a fact that this is wrong. You're 27. So it's like, I can't even feel sorry for you. Cause like, if it would have said, you're like, if the number would have been like, oh, she 22, 23, heck, 20, like 4, I could have gave you that. But when we start hitting 25, girl, you know you wrong. Your brain knows you wrong. She wrong. She is 27 years old. She is wrong. She knows she wrong, and she's stupid. Because now, if you and Lenny don't turn into anything, everyone's just gonna know that this is what you are. That is going to follow you. And that's one thing I have learned, especially when it comes to women. Your reputation is everything when it comes to certain situations. And now when people think of you, they're going to probably go, I was like, oh, that's Lenny's mistress. You're not going to get any respect, bro. No respect. She's stupid. She's stupid, because I'd have told Lenny to keep this on the hush-hush if I was her. Girl, I was trying to feel like you, well, not even feel bad, but, give her the benefit of the doubt. Be like, oh, she's young. She 27. Girl, 3 years and you 30. Ashamed. Be ashamed of yourself, ma'am. Be very ashamed of yourself. So we find out that Lenny is buying her bags and purses. So it ends there. But then before the episode goes off, Larsa's like, y'all want to know some tea? Y'all want to know some tea? And we're like, Marisol and Alexia are like, what's tea, girl? One of my friends saw Julia kissing some man at the surf club. I said, not you out here cheating on Martina, Julia. Girl, Martina about to get rid of you. Martina is about to get rid of you, ma'am. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.